Because I'm really good at that.
Yep.
See it.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Oh, maybe I'll call back.
There we go.
That is him. Benton County Supervisors. Hey, I'm gonna put you on speaker then.
I say what?
All right, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay.
I just can't. Oh, there you are now.
Want to approve the minutes?
Yeah. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes last week?
I'll
Motion.
make that motion.
Okay. Second, Gary. All in favor of approving the minutes from last week?
Aye.
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 You have it on in the background, Rick?
Oh, I'm sorry. It just came up here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because it's echoing on there and it's like behind.
I do. Hopefully that cut it off, didn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Minutes are done.
I may have to jump off the line if I get a phone call. I just had a truck called out.
Oh. Okay.
Good news is the driver's okay.
Good. Good. Rick, I got a handwrite check that they did here yesterday, and they gotta give approval for it.
Well, we just have to share it because
Okay.
it's under the 500, but it's $50. It's
So,
for serving papers.
I'm good. For what?
serving papers.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
I'm letting Gary's looking at it right now.
Sure.
You wanna make a motion?
So moved.
Well, that one wasn't on there, was it?
It wasn't,
No,
but we
it's
got
just for
okay.
your
Right?
interest though, to just okay.
Okay, okay. Then we'll initial it. You want it on the back or front?
So you don't have to take any action. It's
No.
just,
Just,
Just one for you, yeah.
okay, it's fine.
no, we can't do. I guess the only thing we got is reports. Got any reports, Rick?
No, they're all this week,
Okay.
and there's Zoom meetings.
Okay.
Same here.
Well, I had the WMA Zoom meeting last Thursday. And one of the deals we're kind of checking on, let's see, you got that paper. They were here, I believe, either January or February, that Jennifer Fensel and Adam. And remember, they wanted to help fund to keep it going. Adam's job.
Correct.
We never voted on this or anything. They just asked us. So anyway, it was brought to my attention on last Thursday that they wanted to know if we are going to participate in funding.
That's another 5-year program, correct?
They just said 2 for right now.
Because I found that.
You found it?
Well, the NRCS grant one was a 5-year program.
That's totally different. That's the DNR
So
one.
then I can't really find that one,
Okay,
unless he just brought it up in his
okay.
reports.
So Haley's been checking on it. I remember they come here. I told them they need to come to present their case.
Okay. Yeah, I do recall them being there. But wasn't that going to be with federal funding?
No.
No.
County money.
Okay, county money for his position.
Yes.
Okay. And that was going to be divided amongst how many counties?
I think it was gonna, and town, I believe it's 9. Maybe it's even more than that.
Okay. Well, I think he's doing a good job. I think what he does is good for the land, good for the watershed. You know, anytime we can have that retention and keep it from rushing down the river, yeah, that's good for everybody and anybody that's in the way of the Cedar River when it starts raging.
Okay,
I'm in favor of it.
okay, well, we'll have to vote on it. We don't have to do it right away, cause it's not on the agenda, of course, but.
Not on the agenda, correct.
And I got the two figures, this year's figure and then next year's figure. It's almost double for 23, our portion.
Okay.
Why would it be so much more?
I really don't, well,
Because it's a
because
10%.
he's only 6 months. His contract right now, or the federal deal, goes till June 30th. But they give him a 6-month extension to get all these projects done by the end of December. And then he's out of a job.
Well, you'll share those with us. Maybe you can email them out to us.
Okay,
Well,
okay,
Adam's
well,
on at 10 too.
yeah, Adam's gonna be on there at 10, but I don't think, not so much to talk about this either.
But maybe.
Correct, correct.
So I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. Like I said, I remember when they were here, because I asked them to come to the meeting, that Jennifer Fensel and Adam, and then explain this. And then we never acted on it or anything to put it in our budget this coming year.
Okay.
All right?
Right. Yeah. While we're on that subject, you did get a letter, didn't you, from a Garrison resident?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
yes.
It's not on the agenda, so
No,
can't
no,
really
yep,
bring it out.
yep, yep.
John, that vehicle that we got for the foundation too,
Yes,
is that gonna be owned by the county,
no,
by foundation too?
we sold it to Foundation 2 for $1.
Okay. Just wanna make sure, somebody asked, I might make sure we have to insure it.
Nope. do not.
Rick, I got one more question, maybe you can answer.
Okay?
On the willow tree that was taken down out here, are they gonna come back in and grind the stump out?
If I remember that quote, and we should have a copy of it, I mean, at the auditor's office, I believe that included stump grinding.
Okay,
Oh, that old one quote, yeah,
yeah,
it's in the folder.
okay.
'Cause
I remember it's $1,400, but I don't wanna put the fence back up until, if he's gonna grind the stump out, I'm gonna leave it open yet. Got it?
You bet. You bet.
Okay? All right, you answered my question.
Do you guys, speaking of trees, that one we lost in the south side of the courthouse, do you guys wanna replace that, get something done?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Cause there's one on the right-hand side of the sidewalk, but the one on the left snapped off.
Okay. Trees ain't so hard to find. Evergreens
I
are.
know, for
I've been
landscaping.
dealing with that for 3 weeks now.
From what I understand, the Amish up north have got some evergreens.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
My daughter just got a couple dozen.
How big are they?
Not big.
Oh, okay. See, I've been trying to find 6-footers.
Oh, okay.
The burlap bag and everything. The company I dealt with yesterday on the phone, first they said yes, and then they called me back yesterday afternoon and they said they got over 9,000 trees to dig this spring. They said
Oh my.
no. They turned me down, so,
Yeah, wow.
okay.
We found that, we're planting bare root trees, man, they take off.
Hmm.
They're easy to plant, you know.
sheriff coming in too?
Nope, just John.
Oh, Ron is not, he's under the weather, he had to go to the doctor this morning,
Okay.
get checked out.
Okay.
This contract, are they gonna do the official form too? Or not?
I have no idea.
Okay. It's fine, it just looks different, but usually then the city clerk signs and we all sign, but.
This is not,
not
this
the
is just a
regular-
proposal
Oh,
that
okay.
Ron sent, to City of Athens,
Not the actual agreement.
not the actual contract itself. I think he just wanted some advance approval from the board. The issue is the City of Athens with its growth, 18 hours of law enforcement contract a week is not enough. And they realize that. They would like 40 hours a week. And we've explained to them 40 hours a week needs to be able to pay for one deputy sheriff. So it's not going to cost the county. So we wouldn't be giving, the county wouldn't be excessively donating to the City of Athens. They can pay their own way. We've kind of explained to the City of Athens that they're almost to the point where they need their own police department. Once you hit over 2,000 residents, you're kind of entering that atmosphere.
Really?
No.
I believe it is on their city council's agenda for their next meeting to approve the proposal. But it has not been approved by them yet.
My question is, I guess two of them. First of all, is the sheriff gonna hire another deputy, I hope?
He would hire another deputy
Okay,
after July 1st
okay,
with that, and pay for that with the Atkins contract.
okay, okay. That sounds good. And then would it be smart to require him to reside in Atkins or
It would be.
close to it?
It would, we haven't quite worked out the details yet. Just historically, talking like 30 years ago, they had full-time contract deputies. That was their sole mission, is they went to work and they drove to that town and they stayed in that town. We haven't kind of worked out if this would be similar, or we have one deputy who's strictly assigned to Atkins, or we would figure out a patrol schedule to have multiple deputies rotate through. The issue you always have with these contract towns is that every contract town wants law enforcement in there at the same time. Every town wants officers there at 3:30 in the afternoon for the school kids racing through town. They want them there at 7:30 in the morning for the school kids racing through town. It's just kind of hard to schedule, but this would be a way that we could dedicate, if Atkins is paying for 40 hours a week, then we could say, yep, we're gonna have somebody there because you're paying for it.
Now, that deputy, if he's there for 40 hours a week, and he would be able to go out on, assist on a call, like an accident on 30 or something then, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
The way it generally works with the contract law enforcement, we always go over, because you can never schedule the 3 o'clock in the morning domestic
Mm-hmm.
that ends up taking 5 hours of time to deal with. So it gives us some flexibility in scheduling.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it. I know Rick probably ain't seen this yet, has he?
I don't believe it has.
I have not.
Basically, Rick, the city of Atkins and the sheriff have been in talks. The city of Atkins would like,
I hate to do this, but this is my driver calling in.
Okay.
I need to go back into you guys.
Go ahead. Yep,
Thank you.
yep. Yeah.
Yeah, disconnect that way.
We'll come back to that, I guess. Union contract or else approve hiring a part-time. What do you got?
I got both. What you have before you is the agreement that was reached between the sheriff and the union, just outlining the changes to the contract.
And this is that gal that we had hired from Waterloo Cedar Falls to help
Correct.
negotiate this, correct?
Yes.
Cool. We're supposed to vote on this now? Haley?
Because while you're discussing their changes, and you guys have to formally accept them. But this isn't the signed one, so I don't know.
Discuss and approve.
Right, maybe it is just informing them then, because it doesn't show where you're supposed to sign.
Well, I'm sure, like this is something I did years ago. The guy accused me of being a kindergarten filling out a contract because I crossed out things I didn't like. So I'm sure you're gonna print something else that we gotta sign.
Yes. There will be an official
So,
Yeah.
agreement that the union would sign and the board and the sheriff would sign as well.
So you could do a motion that you acknowledge the changes at
Okay.
this point.
okay. I wanna read it first. now.
Yep.
Some of the big changes is the old contract only allowed 1 day of sick leave for family illness. Well, under FMLA, employees can take as much as they want for family, so we kind of changed the contract to reflect what the actual law is.
I have a question, the health insurance part, John. What if the county switches plans with ISAC? So we have to offer this one still to the union?
You would have to offer that to the union.
We did that a few years ago, where we had the two different ones. Okay. That just caught my attention.
But if that did come up, Bailey, I think that's something we could have a meeting with the union and
Okay.
a letter of agreement.
That's what I just, because we've switched now to a different plan this next year already, the board. And if they were to do that in the future.
So getting back to your insurance, what you just said, I just got to that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was concerned with, because if you guys switch,
So,
sorry. Supervisors, is this right? Okay.
Yeah.
They're just looking over the articles changed in the sheriff's union right now.
Yeah.
And I brought up the insurance plan, you know, you guys changed the plan this year for July
Correct.
1st, and in here it states that we would stay with the same plan for those years of the contract, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can do that. We
Oh.
can't guarantee that.
That's what I'm questioning, if you guys change that plan, but their contract states that it's gonna stay that way,
I think that's the point we're gonna have to
bring up.
correct.
cause the new plan we're going to is 10,
Plan 7, I think.
I thought 17.
17, yeah, it's a different one, so that's why I'm concerned even next year, what if you guys want something different? So,
Well, and on the other side of the coin, if that plan has a higher cost to the individuals, even, I realize they're gonna want it left alone. Yeah, yeah.
So is that something we should wait on then?
I
Discuss
would
that?
question Article 16, maybe in our acknowledgement, or when you go over that.
Get a hold of the union and have this discussion.
Because to me, the way I'm looking at it right now, that's fine if we're gonna have to keep the union workers on their own insurance plan, well, then they're gonna have to pick up the higher,
Premiums,
yes,
but then that's not really pointed out in here either.
no.
Years ago, we used to give them the option, like the regular non-union people could choose which plan to go with, but that's been,
So maybe we'll wait on this then?
I don't think we can take action on it,
Yeah,
and I'd like that emailed to me.
yeah,
And as far as that law enforcement contract, can we do the same thing?
yes,
yeah, it's just the proposal.
yeah.
Good, good.
Well, we'll table that one too then, until you can get a definite answer from the union about the insurance.
Yep.
Okay? Now we'll go to the jailer. Can we handle that one?
I think we can. We'd like to hire Heather Baker as a part-time correctional officer. She has previous experience in Warren County as a jailer dispatcher there. She is recently moved to this area and she works for the Belle Plaine ambulance. So,
Okay? Did you hear that, Rick?
I did, I did. Yep.
So moved.
We got,
Motion by Gary there.
Yep.
Okay, I will second that.
all right, all in favor of hiring Heather Baker for part-time jailer?
Aye.
Aye.
Initial that, I'll give it to Nancy.
Yeah. All three, or two?
No, that's fine. So will she, after she meets all those requirements, will she get a raise, or is that when she goes full-time?
no, she would get a raise on completion of training.
Okay.
She would get a raise.
Sometimes we put that in the motion.
I forget the resolution number for part-time
Yeah.
employees at the sheriff's office that spells out
Yep.
their pay.
Alrighty. I can see it just briefly.
Perfect. Did the sheriff have anything else this morning, Haley?
No, I don't think so. He's
He
gonna
was
be gone
supposed to
because
be
we
here
have
for
a
a
meeting at,
meeting at 11 o'clock,
yeah, but I bet he won't
HR,
be.
so.
We're gonna go over those HR applicants.
Okay, that is not something I can replace him.
No,
But he will most likely not be here.
Okay,
okay,
that's it, so we know we can move on or whatever.
yep, just going through the application, so.
Perfect.
But maybe inform him that Friday.
All right. I'll have him get in touch with
We
you.
might be doing interviews on Friday,
Okay.
not a stone yet.
Is he gone all week?
No.
Oh, okay. I need to talk to you guys sometime too about spraying sheriff's tower, or like the towers and stuff, bare ground for the towers.
Okay.
I don't know if there's like a key maybe you can get into those
It's
rooms.
a combination.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yep.
Bruce always did it, and
Yep.
because we're getting that time of year, is gonna check with his cities.
Stop by and I'll get to that combination.
Okay, cool.
So, yep, all the tower sites have the same combination.
Oh, okay, awesome, yeah. Yeah, that way we can get it done this spring and before we get super busy here, so.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And Haley.
Definitely not a gentleman today.
Okay, Ben,
So I wanted to come in today and talk to you guys, kind of hash out some more of the details on the
I'm
departments.
sorry to say this, I cannot hear Ben at all. He's gonna have to move closer.
Oh, okay. How close do you want me to be, I guess?
He's listening too.
Oh, you want me to sit up here or?
Yeah. we can
Oh,
write it
okay.
down.
Put me in the hot seat. Alright. I just wanted to come in today and discuss a few details about us splitting off from secondary roads. It's kind of how you want or general stuff on how you want the department run or specifics with it that I don't think we've really hashed out yet. Kind of put together just a brief list of stuff to go over. One was that back in the day when the weed commission was on its own, the hours of operation were 8 to 4:30. Right now we're working 7 to 3:30 and our hours kind of vary. Personally, I would like to go to 8 to 4:30 if you guys are okay with that, with the option of starting at 7 if we have a good day to spray. But I wanted to kind of hash out like what your expectations schedule because like normally with secondary roads, April through November we work 7 to 4:30, so there's an extra hour of comp time or overtime that gets paid. And then November to April, we work 7 to 3:30. I'm really okay with whatever. I mean, I don't get comp time as department head anyway, so I mean, I planned on just working as many hours as it was gonna take to get spraying done. But just so I know what you guys think for hours, so I can kind of set that with the staff. I mean, personally, I would probably prefer the 8 to 4:30 lining up with basically every other department in the county. And I think just traveling wise from what I've seen, 7 o'clock in the morning, you end up seeing a lot more deer than you do at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, from that end, if it doesn't make any difference to you guys, and then just basically with the option of starting earlier, like if we have a really good day to spray, then get there earlier and put in a longer day so we can kind of get it taken care of as quickly as possible. But I don't know if you had any thoughts or.
I guess my opinion, you're the head of the department, you should do what you want to do, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Within reason, like you, you said here, come May, days you can spray,
Yeah,
the only, for, the drawback that I see that you gotta be, your employees have to be well informed the night before, saying, you seen the weather, it's gonna be 25-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow,
Yeah.
don't come in till 8.
Yep.
Cause I feel, you know, you're not getting the bang for your buck if that guy shows up at 7, you don't show up till 8.
yeah, and we're pretty good about coordinating all that stuff just because we're in the trucks with our drivers every day. I mean, I think our department's kind of unique in that, like, with the weather requirements on it, I feel like we kind of have to be somewhat flexible to work it, you know. And I've always wanted to be able to work, like, say we got a perfect day for, you know, what we run into a lot is like, say we're spraying south and it works best to have a north wind and we get it that day. Some days I wouldn't mind working 10 or 11 hours just to knock it out, you know, so that because we may not get another day like that. So we've always kind of been somewhat restricted on that based on secondary roads' schedule, so I didn't know, you know, I would only think about doing it during that spray window where, you know, we have to be out there trying to get that done, but I wanted to make sure that was okay with you guys before I just did it, I guess.
Well, I agree with Tracy. You know, you're the department head. You know, set your hours.
Okay,
Just communicate.
sounds good.
So,
Yeah, and I'll, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rick.
I asked Gary what he may think. I think you're right, Tracy. We should, you know, he's the department head, you know, do the hours that's gonna work best.
Ditto.
Okay.
And then, like, I kinda agree with you on the extra hours there, like, when you're down at the Belle Plaine spraying in them ditches,
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem, you gotta call them, Dave, you wanna work 10 or 12 hours, that's common sense,
Yeah,
that you're spraying down there, cause I'm sure you go to the city to get water down there like you do all the other towns.
yeah, we've got different locations
Yeah.
we can fill,
Well,
so.
to me, that'd be just common sense, that you're in that area, you don't lose the half hour, 45 minutes road tripping
Yeah.
back and forth.
And that's what I'm trying to do is make it like, because what we're always running into is, can we get it done in the, you know, a lot of time where thistles are, you know, not seeded out and blowing all over the place.
Yep.
And so I'd like to at least have that flexibility during that time so that we can try to get it done quicker while we're out there and stuff. Cause yeah, if you get, you know, if we had an extra hour and we're, you know, everybody's gonna have to be okay with working that, and that's a lot to expect with seasonals, but I know my spray truck driver, we've talked about it before, and it's like some days we'd rather just get it done, and then if the next day we don't want to work 8 hours, we put in the time there, and as long as we've got our 40 or you know, them part-time, it doesn't matter, but yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, talk with you guys about it before I did anything, just so you weren't like, oh, why is he here?
Okay.
You know? So I'll probably, then if it's okay,
Yep.
just set our regular operating hours as 8 to 4:30, and then if we have like a big, you know, a 10 or 12 hour day, I may just make a note of like what we were doing or something, just in case anybody wonders why we're there that
Okay.
long or whatever, so.
And I guess the only question I got, you do got a key to the gates, that you're not locked out at secondary roads.
Yeah. I've got a key there, and Dana gave me the keys for the transportation building now, so I should be,
Okay,
you know,
okay. Okay, I think we got you some directions there.
cool.
All right, next one.
And then I was just gonna go over some basic stuff with it, so you guys know what all we're doing and how everything is staffed. So, you know, when we had budgeted, there's myself and my technician that are full-time, where, you know, we're there all the time doing the spraying and all that type of stuff. And then I've got the 2 part-time spray truck drivers. I just went through applications, and the same 2 guys that applied from last year we had really good luck with, and I did offer them those positions, so I'll probably come back in and talk to you guys about that next week. And then right now, with Bruce having retired in February, we've been trying to figure out how we were gonna handle hiring the new full-time technician for the summer. And right now, my intern has gone and got his pesticide applicator's license and was planning on filling in until we get somebody hired. My plan at the moment, having talked to Myron this morning, was to probably advertise for that here within the next probably 3 weeks or so, do interviews, and then probably try to start them most likely like around the 1st of July when the split takes place, so that that position then is fully hired in my department. There's no, shifting people
So you'll end
around.
up with 3 full-time.
2, just myself and a technician. Unless you want to give me another, I definitely take another.
So you, okay.
Yeah, it would be myself and the full-time technician. That's kind of the way it's always been. When the weed commission was on its own, they had, a weed commissioner and a deputy weed commissioner. And then when the departments were merged, those positions basically just went into secondary roads.
So the 2 part-times that you got right now, they're not licensed to spray, right?
No, they
They're
have,
just drivers.
they have CDLs to drive the
So
spray
you and the
trucks.
technician are licensed, he has his license now?
Yeah, and we just,
Applicator's license.
yeah, we just submitted it to the state. I think we're still waiting on getting it back, but he's passed everything to do that, so.
So is Wes the full-time technician now?
No,
No.
not yet. Or, yeah, I
So
think
you
he's-
don't have a
he's-
full-time tech yet?
Yeah, I don't have a full-time tech yet, but, I think it's something that he's interested in applying for and everything,
I was
but,
just confused too.
yeah.
2 part-time.
So yeah, right now, the general plan was I was gonna have him spray in lieu of Bruce, with Bruce being gone. And then just due to how everything's kind of playing out, splitting off, I think it's gonna be the easiest just to hire that position right at the beginning of July. And I think, from talking to Wes, he's willing to stick around and help me out do that position and everything until then, so.
So in your department, you're shooting to have at least 5 people in?
Yeah, 3 part-time and 2 full-time. So, and I budgeted kind of accordingly. When I budgeted for seasonal hours, I had kind of over budgeted to accommodate for those guys being there for roughly 6 or 7 months. I don't anticipate that they're probably all gonna be there that long, but I wanted to make sure I had enough to cover it if they were willing to stay on and work, so. And normally the way I've handled it is, I have spraying and all that is kind of our main priority in the summertime, and if we get days where we're not out spraying, I'll usually have other tree cutting or something lined up for them to do. And if they're not wanting to do that, usually I just send them home then, so. Most of the time they're willing to do whatever we're working on, so.
Okay.
So that was general game plan on that. So I think like we talked about before, I planned on doing everything that I've always done responsibility wise. So in the summer we'll have the roadside spraying, weed complaints. We're also doing all of our planting projects for the IRVM program and maintenance on those plantings. So prescribed burning and tree clearing and all that type of stuff. We're also going to be doing all the bare ground herbicide application for the county, or somewhat the county anyway. All of the secondary roads shop yards, including the maintainer shop yards, and then we'll spray the sheriff's office towers as well, just to keep the weeds down in those. And that's what I was talking to Lyndon about. And yeah, and then the winter we've got tree clearing, equipment maintenance. We're going to take on probably a little more of that being split off from secondary roads, and Wes has been a lot of help on that as well with chainsaw maintenance and hydroseeder and that type of stuff. And then the other thing we've been looking into is doing some seed collection and seed production type activities too. So there's other stuff that will fall within that. Those are kind of the general things that I've always done that I'm going to continue to do anyway.
Where are you planning on that seed?
I don't know yet. We're researching it at the moment
Okay.
because I had spoken with conservation about partnering on it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anything back because they kind of have the land and I have the resources to help them. I haven't got any word back on if they're wanting to do it or not, so.
Okay.
if they want to, I'm definitely interested in partnering on it. I do think that there's some other relationships I'd like to look at building with other organizations as well. I know I talked to UNI last week, and they're interested in developing plant materials and seed to do some plantings for their properties as well. So it might be something where if conservation doesn't want to do it, I could kind of piggyback off them. And the nice part with UNI is they have a test plot combine that we could maybe potentially utilize and make our life a lot easier in harvesting the seed. And they have probably $60,000 worth of seed processing equipment that we wouldn't have to, worry about ever dealing with them too. So,
It was discussed at conservation.
oh, was it? Okay. Cool. Yeah, I just hadn't heard anything. I've been back, to give you guys a little background, before I got this full-time job, I worked at the DNR, and that was my job, was doing seed production for them. So when I moved back here, I had spoken with Bill Johnson, who was my boss over there that runs that whole operation, and kind of expressed interest in doing it, just because at some point I'm afraid that the seed that we get through UNI, the money might dry up. It's kind of the last grant of its kind that's being funded right now. So if that money ever goes away, the seed we get to do our plantings is going to disappear. So I'm trying to kind of pre-plan for someday, if that happens, that we don't potentially have to foot the bill for doing some of these plantings or not be able to do it at all. So that was
There
kind
should
of
be
my thought.
plenty of place with well, they got plenty of properties around. They could find something where they could produce some seed somewhere.
Yeah, or even if they're not interested in doing it, I mean, I'm more than willing to do it. It doesn't really add a lot of labor expense on my end to take care of it, and we're getting a pretty big gain in overall value doing it. And the DNR provides all of the fabric and materials to set up the plots anyway, so we really have no expense in it other than just my intern's probably going to weed it every once in a while, and that's about it, So, but yeah, I thought about otherwise if they don't want to participate in it, which I'm fine either way, just seeing if they had a spot where I could potentially put in a strip or two of it so that I could get started with it, so. Just for overall accountability with you guys, I think I'm probably going to plan on coming in maybe quarterly and just giving you an update on what's going on. Our GPS systems are pretty advanced anymore, where I can print off like spray reports and maps and stuff and show you kind of what we've gotten done, just so you guys have an idea of what we're getting accomplished anyway. If that sounds acceptable, I just figured it'd be kind of it doesn't have to be a long deal, but I can give you something to show you. The only other thing I wanted to discuss with you, since we had kind of alluded to it a few times, was potentially the idea of possibly using that office down there at transportation. I don't know if that's something you guys would be open to discussing or hearing my ideas on it.
I'd have to think about it for a while.
Okay. We don't, I guess, my thought with it was, we don't have a lot of stuff, and with having a new technician on that I'm probably going to expect helps with some of the computer work and mapping and that type of stuff, I'd like to have a desk for them and everything so that, they have a space to work and occupy. And where my desk is now, I don't really have that option. I mean, I could probably maybe allow them to use part of my desk or something with the computer, but with that space being vacant, and I had a couple ideas on how we could potentially utilize it without being impacted by flooding or anything like that. The idea I had was just, trying to keep as absolutely little amount of stuff in that place as humanly possible. And I had looked into like how we could set it up so that it wouldn't get impacted. And they make some desks anymore that are on rollers, and they're fairly basic. I was gonna at least show them to you guys so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So these are pre-built from Home Depot, and they're relatively inexpensive. I guess I'd have to show Rick, but my thought was if we could utilize it, maybe having like 3 of those in the office, one for myself and the technician, and then one maybe to set a printer on. And that way, if we ever did have flooding, it's mobile, we could roll them onto a trailer, and that's really all that would be in that office, to potentially utilize anyway. So that was just my thought with it, and I thought I'd throw it out there to you guys to think about anyway.
Let me look in the hallway over here, what kind of desks are sitting in the hallway out here. I
Okay.
mean, what's the difference if they sit there or if they sit down there, you know what I mean? They're just getting older, sitting
You
there.
have some, you mean?
I think so. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
that hallway is full roofed up.
Okay.
There is a lot of furniture there.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and to me, my personal opinion, we own it already, it's paid for.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. The only reason I brought this up was just that I know flooding
It's
is a
mobile,
concern
yep,
down there.
yep,
And
yep.
I was trying to think of, how do we make it as mobile as possible, that if we
Yep.
do have water rising, that we could get everything out of there and, moved potentially, if you guys would be open to it anyways.
Okay, well, let us talk amongst ourselves and then we'll
Okay, yeah.
contact you and,
Yeah, just let me know what you think, and I'm not gonna have hurt feelings either way. I just
Okay.
figured I'd throw it out there with us having the storage bays now the way it is, so.
okay,
But,
alrighty.
that's pretty much everything I had put together for you, unless there's anything you guys can think of, that you wanted to ask, or things to hammer out with it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Okay,
cool, well, thanks.
well, thanks, Ben.
I think I just had one other thing on here, and then get out of your hair.
Okay.
The other thing I put on the agenda today was just to discuss and potentially approve a new wage for the intern. We had discussed a salary range for the internship when I came in and talked to you guys about hiring the positions. I think it was like 13, whatever he's at now, 13.60 something to $15. Personally, I feel, Wes has been on for about a year now, and he's really done a pretty awesome job with helping with me with everything I need, and he's providing more service than what a normal intern does in terms of maintenance and that type of stuff, and he's kind of stepping into helping us in the meantime until we get a full-time person on, and he's gonna basically be doing that full-time position as an intern. So my recommendation, I guess, was that I'd like to bump him to the $15 an hour, if that's okay with you guys, just because he's kind of taking on more responsibilities than I had originally, required of him anyway. And
Can you do that?
When's it gonna go into effect? Because you're still on Myron's funding this year.
yeah, we had talked about that this morning.
I mean,
Um,
I would make sure Myron knows that he has enough spending authority for that.
Yeah, and
We talked about it this morning, I mean, that $1.40, $1.50 difference for 2 months here.
Okay.
It won't have that serious impact, so I say he has, like Ben said, has been around doing that position for a year now, and has gained knowledge of it as well as some other credentials that he didn't have when he started, so.
Okay.
I don't disagree with his request, and I could fund it until the beginning of the fiscal year.
I'd say we don't have to
Then
vote
you do a
on it.
motion to change his
Mhm.
wage, yeah.
All right. I don't think Rick
I
can do
you should
that.
probably abstain.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna abstain from
Okay.
it.
Do you wanna make a motion to,
I move that we increase his wages.
okay?
You wanna say his name? George Hebner?
I'm sorry.
I better say his name in the motion,
Oh.
because it doesn't go on the agenda.
George,
Does he go by George or Wes?
Wes,
Well,
Nobody cares.
alright,
Wes,
Wes.
George.
okay.
George or West.
So
Yeah.
he's
Both of
working
them, how's
15
that
an hour.
sound?
There you go.
I'll second it. All in favor of granting the wage increase for the part-time Wes Hefner? All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. There you
I
Awesome.
abstained.
go. Abstained.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess I probably won't. I'll be in next week just to talk to you guys about the spray truck drivers. But with us kind of getting into the busy season, if you get any weed complaints or whatever, just send them my way, and I'll make sure to handle them. And I'll let you know if we have any problems that arise that need your attention. So,
All right, well, thanks, Ben.
all
Do
right.
you want
Thanks a
a
lot.
time for next week, or you just gonna call it later?
You can put me on for whenever. I kind of forgot about it. Myron and I discussed it this morning. Need to come back in, so yeah, whatever time works, I make it work, so.
Just looking at the agenda, it doesn't look too bad yet, so
Okay.
pretty open.
Yeah, whenever, 9 or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah,
you need
I didn't know if you wanted to
There's-
come and get it over with and. go
Yeah,
back.
that's fine.
All right,
I can usually make.
I'll put you at 9 on Friday.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, Myron.
I'm gonna talk slow, I'm not sure I can make this last 15 minutes.
No.
Kane Township, West Keystone, 12th Avenue, 70th Street, we're gonna start at that intersection. REC's got overhead power, but they don't have power going east there, I don't believe. Becker Egg Service Building's going up. So REC is proposing to run underground, go under 12th Avenue and 70th Street from where they are and plow in the right way to take underground over to that new facility. So utility permit to approve that.
So moved.
Second? I second it.
I would second it.
Okay, you did. All in favor of approving the REC permit?
Aye.
I
Aye.
That's all I had today.
It is.
Do you want me to see if we can get that meeting at 11 started earlier?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna plan to.
I'll email them out, yeah, we'll be done early.
And the email I seen yesterday afternoon, I read this morning was maybe sooner, so I guess if they're, the other 3 that are to participate in are available, I just see get started sooner.
Okay. I got 2 things for you, Myron.
Okay.
Okay, one is the Oak Grove Church, the road down there.
They did.
I heard there's a tile showing that was buried in alongside the road. About 30 foot. I haven't seen it, I haven't been up there. Okay, that was one. And then that west side road, I call it south of west side, across 30 where we hauled the asphalt in. I had 2 complaints over the weekend how bad that is. Now, I haven't been on that either. So I don't know what we can do about it. Does it need to be bladed, or can we blade it, or?
Being bladed, but yes, I mean, I know there's some holes, I actually was on it northbound this morning.
Okay.
And I was expecting it to be worse based on a complaint I had received last week, also. I was was gonna travel it southbound and see if it's worse on one direction of travel than the other. It does have a number of potholes, but I didn't have a problem picking a path that worked just fine, and it wasn't weaving around to miss potholes.
Okay.
And kind of brainstorming ideas, I guess, to improve that, and costs that are involved with
Okay. I haven't been on it, so I can't. Okay. That was the two things I had.
I know we had some holes last fall, and we went down with skid loader and some coal pit mix and fixed a number of them, or at least the really bad spots. What I seen this morning is a lot of little potholes here and there on that path, and areas that, trying to brainstorm a simple fix that isn't labor intensive and labor costed.
Okay. Last winter, did the trucks bladed with the trucks, or the maintainer took care of it? Do you remember?
I'd have to check. I'm gonna guess the blade operator did that, probably. I think he tries to catch that during his earlier part of his route, generally, because you've got, can't always, but like I say, you got a fair amount of traffic coming up that stretch.
Okay.
We might have went down with the truck and treated it a little bit, but I'd have to follow up on that to see exactly.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, last week.
That's for your birthday.
Fresh HR kitchen.
That's right.
Thank you.
I have a little boy's birthday party.
Sounds good.
Hey, Mary. Tried calling you. No answer.
He had his birthday off, right?
I was
Oh.
on Nookie yesterday.
Got instructions.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble.
Wait, let me go get my rubber glove.
I didn't give him any instructions.
My printer printed kind of funny colors. I don't know why.
Is Rick on the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't email him this stuff.
Okay, Adam.
Okay, so we are ready to do another bid letting process for a handful of projects. I handed you the sheet of, quick list of those projects. It's 4 ponds and the wetland in town here for Benton. And you can see the sizes of each of those. They're not overly large structures, but they are good. Obviously, the one in the city has been really open for quite a while. We are ready to go on that. We're estimating about $1.1 million, which is pretty close to where our remaining budget is. That we just got back from ECOG and the state. So I'm hoping this will, it may not be the last one, but it should eat up the remainder of the IWA funds for this year. If we do have some funds left over.
Rick, can you hear Adam?
Barely.
Oh,
Is,
Yeah, that's
He's
all.
right here.
He's on the.
Oh, he's on
he's
the
on the phone. You're good right there. Now.
You want me to start over, Rick?
You don't have to start over.
Okay, so, but yeah, we have, 4, ponds in a wetland that are ready to be, bid out, for construction. We are anticipating starting that on Friday this week, and then having the opening on May 13th, I do believe, which is the full 20 days of or the maximum advertisement period of the due. I'll double check those dates. It's really going to depend on when we actually advertise, but I don't want to delay the process another week or two if we don't have to. We have all the necessary permits, minus one Corps of Engineers permit for the Bloom site, the number 1 on here, but we should get here in the next week or so. So we're going to go ahead and get everything filed and ready to go for that, assuming we're going to get it within the next 2 weeks. As far as the approvals that need, there's an intent to obligate construction funds form that I gave to Haley, duplication of benefits form, and then also need approval the notice to publish at the newspaper, both newspapers here, one in Benton County, one in Tama County, which would likely start next week.
You're gonna prepare that with Thompson, or?
I'll pay for it, but I'll send it to you. I don't know who you just want to send it. Yeah, Benton and Tama County. We have projects in both. But again, we're doing the full 20-day advertisement period. So as long as it's in the newspaper during that time, we'll be fine. I do have the design plans on my tablet if you really want to look at more details on them, or if you have any questions. Feel free to ask. The one site is pretty interesting. The Fleming site is just out here on 318. It's actually building off the DOT right away and using the road as a dam. So that's probably the first example in the state of the DOT doing that. So that's pretty exciting that they are allowing us to do that. It's not an overly large pond, but it could lead to maybe some other things in the future. And then obviously completion date we have December 15th, which as of right now the IWA is over on December 31st, so that should give a few weeks to get pay claims in, paperwork done, before everything is actually wrapped up.
Only question I got is City of Benton site.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
They got a lot of trucks to haul a lot of dirt away, right?
Yes.
Where's the dirt gonna go?
They're putting that where the middle school is, so right across from the Quick Star, that
Okay.
bottom field. That's where it was originally intended to go, but now that we actually own the property, it's good to go now, and we have the permit from the city
Okay.
to do so.
Okay.
And I made sure they have the deed in hand for the property, so there shouldn't be any recourse like there was last time.
Okay. Sounds good. And then on the engineer cost, on the last couple of bids, you come in.
They were lower, yeah, which I'm hoping that they will be. That'll give us a little wiggle room because there's always some overage expenses
Right?
during construction. But we did adjust the numbers based off the last bid, because if you look at the chart, there was some that were higher, some that were lower. So we kept it right at the same numbers we had been using, because material costs have been going up a little bit. So we didn't want to shoot too low, so to speak. So I think we'll be, I'm fingers crossed it'll be lower, but I don't want to guarantee that. Like, it would be nice.
So out of the engineer's cost, the estimate that you got here,
Yep.
How much you still got,
So there's, there'll be match dollars coming from, the owners and some of the state. So the Department of Agriculture is partially funding some of these sites. So I think there's about $30,000 coming from them, for some of these, and then the landowners have a portion as well. So there will be money coming in. I just haven't, I don't figure that into this, because usually use those funds for construction observation and engineering and.
but my question is, you got more in the account?
Yeah, we do have more in the account than what.
That's good. That's all I wanted to-
Yeah, that's why I said we should have some wiggle room.
Okay.
It just so, I don't wanna put too many projects in there, and all of a sudden we're way over.
Yep.
So, we are gonna structure this in a way that in case the bids do come in, we can drop one project and still contract out the others,
Okay.
as a contingency plan. I don't, like I said, I don't expect that to happen, but if it does, for whatever reason, we'll drop one, just one
Okay.
project, so we can still contract out the others.
All right, so I guess first thing I need is a motion to approve.
So I need a motion to approve the intent to obligate construction funds and duplication of benefits form, or for you to sign them. And then approval to notice to publish, which I'll be given to Haley as soon as, probably by midweek or at the end of the
I
week.
can send it out, because then
Yeah,
Friday or Tuesday.
You want
Yep.
to do them both together?
I think
Yeah.
September.
we've got them all together in the
He's
past.
got them all together.
Motion to publish and,
You gotta repeat all that.
Here,
we already did.
It's on.
And then you can sign them.
Okay. Okay. Read the top in the dark.
Which one? Oh,
Both in the dark.
So the one is duplication of benefits. And the other one is intent to obligate construction funds.
yeah, we will, obligate construction funds and, what's the other one?
Duplication of benefits.
Yeah. So moved.
And seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then need approval for notice to publish.
I'll make that motion to go ahead for the approval of
Yep.
public
And
notice.
then just so we can advertise it in the newspaper.
Yep. So anybody want to second it?
I will.
All in favor of the publication? Nothing in there yet?
Aye.
Aye. There you go. Got it.
Good.
Can I get copies of those for next week, please? Leave them behind.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
I can email them to you too, Rick, if you'd like.
Okay, that'd be great. I'll
Yep.
just print them off then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we don't have no new business, I don't think. And no public is here. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And I will second that.
All in favor of adjourning?